I came to Vietnam in 2012 with nothing but a laptop and a passport. And 13 years later, my group of companies here in Vietnam and Southeast Asia have started over 10 businesses. For one, I was the founding CEO of Lazada Vietnam, and we have sold 3 additional tech companies in Southeast Asia and Vietnam. We have also put one on the stock market in Sweden, where I'm from. I'm glad that we had a couple of successes along the way, but if you go from those 10 businesses that we started and you have around 5 successes, for me, if you entrust me with the company, it's a coin toss. 50-50, succeed or fail. But more broadly, if you ask investors in early stage companies, they will tell you that 9 out of 10 startups will fail. 90% fail. That's a daunting statistic for anybody that is aspiring to start a business from scratch. But why is that? And what can you do to improve your odds from the kind of average 10% likelihood of success up to 50-50, or maybe even beyond that? This is a survey that CB Insights did a while back on the top 20 reasons why companies fail. And basically, if we go from the top here, I mean, the top 3 reasons really read bad business idea, didn't have enough money, or bad team. And there are many surveys like this one, and they roughly highlight the same top 10, top 5, top 3 reasons. But having been part of numerous company building adventures across different sectors, across different stages of companies, and companies with quite different levels of resources. Some have had no money, some have had hundreds of millions of dollars of funding. There's an interesting pattern that emerges across these company building adventures. There's a striking pattern when it comes to why companies fail. And it's not the reasons that are highlighted in these surveys or in media in general. My conviction is that there's really only one reason why companies fail. And it's not about the business idea, it's not about the team, and it's not about the money that you have at hand. There's one underlying reason why companies fail, and that's about the battle inside the mind of the key people behind the company. And if you lose that battle, it will lead you on to give up. You know, if it really was about the business idea, why didn't this group of people that were building the company try more different angles to that business idea? Or if it really was about the funding, why didn't they work part-time for free or even took out a personal loan? Or if it really was about the team, why didn't they just change that team? I mean, basically, there's an endless amount of angles that you can try when a company is about to fail. But the real reason here is that your mind is telling you that these other angles are too risky, too challenging, or too painful to try. So your mind is telling you that the best way forward, the easiest way forward, is to give up. It's the most pain-free way forward, where really you should be pushing through these struggles. And this is the battle inside your head that you need to win and push through to reach success. The issue at hand here is that building a company from scratch is a wild mental roller coaster. Basically, you're going from the highs of highs, where you have just won a big client. You have just secured a key candidate for your team. And then you go straight down to the lows of lows, where you have suddenly lost that big client that was so important to you, or half of your team resigned, or you were just rejected in your 100th investor pitch. And basically, your mind will also amplify these swings, and it will play tricks on you. So the mind will tell you that these highs are, far beyond the real world implications of the highs. Same thing with the lows. It will also tell you that they are catastrophic, always. And these swings, they will have great impact on the mental stage of the early stage company builder. Basically, this voice inside your head will start to whisper to you. It will say, give this up. Stop this excruciating company building experience. There are so many easier things that you can do. Just get a normal job. And when you go through that roller coaster one time, most people can handle. 10 times, most people can handle. But companies, they take 5 to 10 years or longer to build. And then you go 500 times up and down that roller coaster, or maybe even 1,000 times. And that's where 90% of people lose the battle against their own mind, and they decide to give up. And that's why companies fail. There seems to be this wiring inside the human mind where we see struggle as early indicators of failure. And we tell ourselves that we should give up to preempt failure. In a company building context, this means that most early stage founders, company builders, entrepreneurs, they give up way too early. In fact, we should consider that probably no significant success has ever been achieved without pushing through intense periods of struggle and pain. So this perspective of seeing struggles as an indicator of future failure is really blocking us from seeing the path to success. And that's what I'm referring to as the equation of struggle and success. This is roughly what it looks like in a company building context. And I will take you through this journey. So when you start out on the far left with your business, immediately you are surprised that there are so many negative surprises. There are constant struggles. Your inbox looks terrible. Every day there are bad news in that inbox. There are never any happy news. My inbox looks absolutely terrible. This surprises people. And now you have a choice as a company builder. You can either interpret these constant struggles and problems as indicator of likely failure and give up, or you can see it as the first indicators of the path to success. And basically, because of this, the struggles becomes the filter for succeeding with the company building. 90% of people will interpret these struggles as coming failure, and they will give up. And they will get out of the game, roughly around the filter. Only 10% or less of the company builders will actually appreciate the struggles for what they actually are. And I think this applies to many other areas in life, sports, music, science, etc. You need to push through that filter, and then you will be one of those 1 in 10 or 10% that actually get through. The funny thing is that the few people that get through that filter, they start to appreciate struggle. They even probably become a little bit addicted to struggle, and they steer towards it instead of away from struggle, because they know that this probably means success. The other good news on the other side of that filter is that competition is very low. So once you're through there and you have been able to reshape the perception of your mind, struggle doesn't mean failure. It doesn't mean that I should give up. Struggle means that I'm on my path to success, and it's likely success down the line. The good news is the competition is gone, and it's almost guaranteed success. So I will leave you with this. I hope that these different perspectives and reflections of why companies succeed and fail can help to open your mind to dare to start your own business and persevere with that business. My conviction is that building a company from scratch is probably the biggest unlock of human potential there is. So it would be a great shame if you believed all the talks about the perfect business model, the perfect team, and all that cash that is needed to build a company. That's all a smokescreen. And the real battle is in here, in your mind. And if you can win that battle, you are almost guaranteed success. Thanks a lot for listening. Thank you.